Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar of Mastering Data Integrity and Data Governance with Octopi. My name is Inette Ezra. I'm the Vice President of Product at Octopi. Today, we will learn about the trends of 2024 in terms of data lineage for compliance, a bit of education around different regulations that you need to comply with, how is related to you as a data governance manager, a data compliance manager, or data professional in general. And we will dive into a demo to give you some best practices on how to utilize data lineage to adhere to your industry compliance. So first of all, in 2024, we see, even it's just 1 month in 2024, a trend that started last year, we see that data lineage for compliance is gaining momentum, mainly due to increasing volume of data and complexity of system environments, along with stringent compliance requirements. And we see this trends of generative AI. We see more and more governments requiring different technology companies to embrace a new compliance for it. Data lineage in general, just for your education, is a method of tracing an organization's data throughout its entire life cycle, providing a visual representation of the flow, imagine maps, flow of data throughout your data landscape. This process is particularly significant in sectors like banking, healthcare, finance, where regulation and compliance is critical. So how to achieve sustainable compliance and avoid consequences? So let's start with a few examples of consequences. One would be financial penalties. Organizations struggle to track and report on data sources and transformations, leading to non-compliance with regulations like GDPR, for example. This can result in hefty fines due to the inability to demonstrate compliance during audits. Other consequences are legal consequences. You might face a reduced ability to trace the data processing and handling accurately. In this event of, let's say, legal scrutiny or litigation, you might find it challenging to provide the necessary evidence to defend your data practices, leading to legal vulnerabilities, especially if you have a time frame, like give it within 2 hours, 3 hours, within a day, provide me with this evidence. The nightmare of reputational damage. Without clear visibility into data origins and transformations, and this is something that's provided by data lineage solutions, you risk data breaches or even misuse. Such incidents can quickly erode your customer trust and tarnish the company's reputation, especially if you are perceived as not having control over data. Others are the day-to-day operational disruptions, where are required to identify the root cause of data issues that sometimes can be time-consuming and complex. It could take even days to understand where is the problem. This can lead to prolonged operational disruptions as resolving data inaccuracies or breaches become a more cumbersome process. The last one, it's not the only one, but the last one is a typical nightmare of losing data, the loss of data. So sometimes you are not aware that you lost it, and you need a comprehensive view of how data moves and changes across systems. And without it, you are at a higher risk of unintended data loss or corruption. This lack of visibility can lead to critical data being misplaced or improperly handled, impacting decision-making processes and day-to-day operations. Bottom line, not having a data lineage solutions can lead to increased risk in compliance, legal standing, reputation, as I said, and eventually data integrity. Data lineage tools not only support compliance efforts, but also enhance overall data management and governance practices. One of them is change management, which lately became the top one topic for CDOs in companies. So bottom line, automated data lineage is highly effective in simplifying compliance with regulations. It removes the manual labor and guesswork, the pesky task to understand the specific field, the specific data asset, where it has been used, how it flows. So the guesswork here is immensely high, and involved in auditing and reporting data lineage is something that you need to handle. A data lineage will significantly reduce time and resources needed for compliance activities. It enables you to proactively address it as they arise, right? You don't wait, you prepare for it. We provide quick responses through auditing inquiries, and you adhere to legal requirements, of course. And in that sense, data governance and compliance become increasingly complex, particularly with the integration of generative AI in business processes. We have lots of customers. I think that I didn't find one that is not preparing for that, or is not really required to incorporate AI into the daily business processes, because data is an asset and data lineage emerges as a critical tool. It's not only supporting compliance and risk management, but also enhances overall data governance, providing organizations with the necessary transparency and control over your data assets. So let's take a few examples of regulations. You're probably familiar with all of them, but for the ones that are not, depending on your industry, for example, Basel II and III, these are international banking regulations requiring financial institutions, maybe like yours, to maintain sufficient capital reserves to minimize credit risks. So compliance is crucial for auditors to ensure stability and reliability of your financial system. And for the data teams, it requires to maintain accurate and risk-aware financial reporting. Another one is DFS 504. This is a regulation specific to the New York State. So if you are from the New York State, this is something that you need to adhere to. It's basically requiring to maintain robust transaction monitoring and sanctions filtering systems. Also, in this case, compliance is vital for auditors, and you need to ensure that institutions like yours effectively prevent money laundering and adhere to trade sanctions. Also here, data teams needs to manage accurately and tracking transactions, ensuring operation integrity and adhering to this kind of regulation. Other one is the Solvency II. This is a directive for the European Union, specific, for example, for insurance industry. It focuses on the amount of capital that EU insurance companies must hold to reduce risk of insolvency. So it's crucial to comply. Again, you have to prove that you have sufficient reserve to cover potential claims, providing financial stability. Now, you need to, again, provide that evidence. And for data teams, you need to manage and report accurately financial information in line with that directive's guidelines. Again, to ensure financial health and reliability of the insurance company. So again, 3 regulations, data lineage, and all of 3 are providing comprehensive view of data journeys from source to final report, okay? This visibility ensures that data accuracy's integrity is essential for regulatory reporting. It also streamlines the process, reducing the risk of manual errors and enhancing data governance. Let's take a step further to another regulation type. It's called Current Expected Credit Loss, or CECL, and IFRS 9 are accounting standards that require early recognition of potential credit losses. So you have to have a predictive way to identify it. So for auditors, in such case, compliance ensures more proactive risk management in financial reporting. And as a data team member, you must accurately predict and prepare for potential losses, improving financial stability. So data lineage in these cases facilitate the integration and analysis of various data sources, crucial for accurate credit loss forecasting, for example. It clarifies the process of risk model validation and support efficient auditing. So again, here the data lineage is to enable you to proactively manage the risk. And financial institutions that are within this context can adapt more quickly to regulatory changes. Now, the last ones, GDPR is well known, especially in Europe. But for example, BCBS 239 for any banking institution, or other like MIFID 2 is also something that is for trading and financial reporting in that context. Data lineage is crucial for tracking, again, transformations. Context here could be bond curve calculations. This is very important. You need both horizontal lineage, that means that tracing data back to its original source, could be like an upstream impact analysis, and you need a vertical lineage, understanding the transformations data undergoes. So we'll see a demo together in a few minutes, how to tackle this kind of requirement. This dual approach, by the way, is essential for financial, regulatory, and customer reporting, especially in capital markets, providing a clear picture of data provenance and its manipulation over time. So basically, data lineage will empower you to demonstrate data flow for risk reports and manage private and sensitive data effectively. You will also take an example of what is sensitive data lineage in that sense. So transparency is essential for all these regulations, and we review a few of them. Unfortunately, there are many of them depending on your industry. Therefore, my advice to you is to look at this as a framework. So to win, let's call it a project, to win compliance projects and ensure that you adhere to regulation, implementing a comprehensive risk management framework is essential. This is a best practice that our customers are implementing. So let's review it. Risk management, I'm starting clockwise. I'm jumping in between. So risk management, for example, aligns the data handling practices with compliance standard rigorously. It means regularly review and update these practices to reflect the latest regulatory changes. This proactive approach ensures that your organization's data management stays compliant and you reduce the risk of non-compliant penalties. Let's jump to traceability and transparency. So you have the map, you have the maps of your data landscape. So you need to maintain thorough traceability and transparency in data storage, processing, and access. This is crucial for, and to review some of them, for compliance with regulations such as GDPR, BCBS 239, banking, HIPAA and CCPA, which demand precise knowledge of data's lifecycle. Implement systems that provide clear visibility into data journey and its various touch points, again, data lineage. Data hygiene is about regularly audit and understanding the impact of any changes in your data system. It's not only about what is broken. It's not only about the root cause analysis. It's a typical use case of a data lineage. We're moving towards proactive approach, managing the changes, verify before you break, ensure that you have the evidence of an upstream or downstream impact analysis. Ensure that you have the evidence of the vertical data lineage, right? Ensure that the changes do not compromise your compliance standards. It's vital to avoid data contamination that could lead to compliance issues before it happens. Privacy protection. I need to identify and categorize sensitive assets and data flows. And it could be that you have a data catalog. It's nice, but what about its data lineage of that sensitive asset? So it's about sensitive data lineage. It's about maintaining the technical documentation of an asset that is being changed. So implementing stringent measures to handle this data in accordance with privacy laws and regulations, and regularly training it and awareness programs for employees can also be crucial in reinforcing the importance of data privacy. Efficient auditing with Octopi, for example, it means that you can utilize the product, the solution, for efficient evidence. It's easy to understand visualizations, right? And reports of data flows. It simplifies the process of demonstrating compliance. How do you demonstrate today? In Excel, you draw something. Imagine that you have the maps as out of the box as an evidence. This is not only saving you time during audits, but also provides a clear understanding of compliance status at any given moment. Data governance, needless to say, it's establishing and enforcing standards and procedures that ensures that your data is used in an ethical manner, not just compliant. Data governance frameworks should be clear, comprehensive, and integrated into the everyday data management practices. And this is the point. You might have a data catalog. It's nice. You might have a basic data lineage. It's also nice. But the point here is that we have to have a strong data lineage, multi-layered data lineage solution in place. So the data teams that are the day-to-day management are in line with that framework of compliance. So you need to have both a strong data catalog foundation and a strong and multi-layered data lineage solution in place in order to implement this best practices that will significantly enhance your ability to manage data in compliant manner. So let's dive into a demo. We are Octopi. We are an automated data lineage, data intelligence platform. And I will show you a few examples and use cases on how to stay compliant. Let me just stop sharing and resharing. Okay. So we're starting with, say, a basic, let's say, auditing process. And I'm required, for example, to show to the auditor, it could be an internal one, it could be that I need to understand as a data professional, data engineer, developer, if I'm touching a sensitive asset. Am I staying compliant within the framework that we just discussed, especially for change management? So for example, I'm required to review or to change a sensitive report. Employee personal information would be that report. I, as a data engineer, have the option to maintain the technical documentation within the same platform at Octopi. But more importantly is to understand the linked assets, for example. Again, the impact of it. The linked assets are being automatically linked to the main asset by Octopi's automated harvested metadata engine. That is also, let's say, parsing not just your data landscape systems, but everything that is related to the code, stored procedure, to the scripts. And we're running in, let's say, reverse engineering with an algorithm that enables us to automatically link everything and stitch together a multi-layer map. And we'll see together, what do I mean by that? Let's understand first the first map, the first layer of this report. And that means to understand the lineage across systems. So if I'd like to identify if I'm being compliant and I need to provide this explanation to an auditor or another use case to address a change, how to identify it. So Octopi's cross-system lineage identifies your ETL processes, DB objects and files, analysis services and reports. And we saw the employee personal information report together. Now let's identify the views and the table. This is done automatically. Also dependencies, right? This is the actual report. Let's dive into the report. Let's see if the report itself contains sensitive information. So within the reports, you have the physical layer, you have the semantic layer and presentation layer. As you may see here, you have all the information needed as an auditor or compliance manager to understand if the entire report is sensitive. And we see here the ones that are looking at the GDPR, for example, or personal information, you have in one, let's say, minute, even second, this information available. You have the map. Now let's address a particular field, for example, the address line, and see it like backwards, right? Let's see it from a source perspective to downstream to the reports. So if I'm looking, for example, to understand the end-to-end asset lineage of the address line, let's take this as an example. How to identify and trace the information from the information consumer system down to this report. So you have this report available here, and we can track the address line up to the person view within an information consumer. So this is a magic map. So this is the third layer of the lineage that Octopi has, and it helps you to address a request of an evidence. Show me that you understand how the data flows into your system. The ultimate question would be how the address line is being used, where it's being used, right? So you can switch to a discovery mode, and let's do this together. You can navigate smoothly to search it in a discovery mode. And here I'm pausing for a second just to address another discovery issue that typically data lineage solutions are not providing it, is to identify on a technology level the specific entity model of that system. And we talked about address line, how to find it, where it's being used. And we see here, and we saw it together, within 2-3 seconds, you can understand, for example, the views, table valued functions, store procedures, objects in general, where the address line 1 is being used within your SQL server. So let's take one example together. This is an object names, the vStore with address. The database name is available. You have the schema name. Let's dive into the actual view where the address line is being used. Okay, let's dive into the inner system within your SQL server. Guess what? Address line is here. You have the source, the data source, transformations, and target. So you have, let's say, a 360 option to show the evidence to an auditor, and to make sure that when you make a change, when you apply a change, you have the horizontal lineage, you have the vertical lineage, you have the upstream, and you have the downstream impact. And if you want, for example, to take another look on how, for example, to make sure how this field is being used within this query, within the store procedure, let's take another look on how generative AI can help you to automate pesky tasks, for example, of documenting. For example, that auditor could ask you, show me that you had the documentation of this view. So let's use Optimize for it. Optimize is a specially generative AI embedded service where it helps you to run with few actions. Today, we'll only focus on a specific one to help the compliance manager, to help the data engineer that might change this script to perform a quick technical documentation that provides you with the purpose, provides you with the data sources, explains, for example, that the address contains detailed address information, how the calculations are running in this specific query. We don't have calculations, but if we have, it will show you both calculation and transformations. We'll take an example of a transformation in a second, because we saw regulations that you are required not just to show traceability. In that sense, you have to show how the data is being manipulated, how the data is being transformed. So imagine that you have, before you jump into that use case, imagine that you have a Copilot that addresses this need of document everything, and you can actually copy this document and provide it to your compliance manager or to an auditor. This is the first part of the demo. Let's now talk about specific, show me how did you transform the data? Show me the manipulation. Okay, so show me, for example, in a revenue report or in top sales report, how did you transform the data? And you need to show it an evidence. So let's take an example of a report. For example, top product sales. This is especially for financial regulations. And you'll move on with the same view of, first of all, cross systems, right? Show me the tables, show me, for example, the ETL. Okay, we can jump into the ETL for a second, but just for this specific use case of this report, okay, so it's based on 4 tables. Great. Show me this traceability into the report. Let's go into the report itself. Remind you, we see the physical layer, semantic layer, and presentation. These are the 4 tables represented here. We are also showing, if needed, the query of the report. So the semantic layer also stores the actual script of the report. It's available, the click of the button. And now if I want to, for example, show the auditor how a specific field is being manipulated, let's do that. Okay, we can focus on it, for example, only on this component. Let's jump and navigate to the end-to-end assets journey. I remind you that we have this visibility starting from the report and on the upstream to the information consumer. And typically the transformation takes place within an ETL, right? So we can already see here, without being too technical, that the total product cost is consisting out of 3 different fields: order quantity, unit price discount, and unit price. But the auditor will ask you, show me the actual transformation. Fine. So this would be the first evidence. Let's jump to the second evidence. This is exactly within the system. Okay, we have now within the inner system lineage, have the source, data source, transformation, and target, right? So remember that total product cost. Let's focus on it. I'm going to focus on the component path analysis. This is a simplified view. Okay, I said it's very clear, but show me the actual transformation. Show me the actual manipulation of the data. Here it is. You have the script, the specific order and quantity of unit price and discount. This is the actual manipulation that has been applied. So this is a very nice way to we identify together at least 2 or 3 use cases. Bottom line is that you can utilize a solution like Octopi for a compliance framework where you have the ability to easily navigate between 3 different dimensions of the lineage: cross system, inner system, end-to-end lineage, column-based. And we have also the ability, we saw together, even to create something from scratch and simulate it with a live lineage to make sure that you're not breaking, for example, let's take this example, you're not breaking compliance. What do I mean by that? Remember the framework of change management? If, for example, I need to change something, I need to change even the way that the data is being manipulated. If I'm breaking something, or if I need to, for example, add, let's say I'm being, I don't know, I'm mistaken, I'm doing something wrong, I'm changing the from to join, just for the sake of this demo. join. I'm doing a mistake on purpose. Let's see if I'm not breaking anything, right? If I'm not misusing something. So you can see, right? You have this live lineage, and you can also have the option to fix it. So you have, again, the Optimize Copilot to help you to fix it. And after it's been fixed, you can also, let's say, create the technical documentation of this asset directly in Octopi. So this is another way to run faster, to make sure that you are, let's say, focusing on strategic issues, strategic tasks, strategic projects, instead of running with tasks like documentation or fixing basic scripts. And very important changes applied. Again, auditing-wise, you need to have the comments, and data engineers and developers like us are tending not to, or to forget to run with documenting everything. So this is, again, another way to utilize Octopi. We talked about the discovery, which enables you to quickly and swiftly address any question of where has been used, right? Where it appears, without searching for a specific field out of nowhere. You can do this versus navigating from one map to a discovery module, and then making sure that you address every technical documentation changes within the catalog itself. That's it. Questions and answers, we will be able to handle it after the webinar. Thank you for your questions. We will tackle it. Please contact me. I'm Zinat Ezra from Octopi. You can find me via LinkedIn. Happy to jump on any call with you if you have any questions on compliance, data lineage for compliance, and such. Thank you.